Namaskar and welcome to this exciting episode of Sattology, debunking mythology. Sattology means science of truth or study of truth. Opposite to that is mythology, which means science or study of fake, lie, or imagination. So I can tell you one thing. The more I research about the stars, about the information coming from Vedas, it's amazingly true. The science always follows it. And the purpose of science is to prove, but generally the science has become the most unscientific. There's a scholarly consensus. Our views are not important. And you can see with the campaigns being raised against by various theorists in the West. And unfortunately, in other countries which are equally powerful, they also fall for this kind of propaganda instead of doing their own original study. So I have a very special guest today, and we are going to talk about the 12 Adityas. So let's welcome Dr. Aparna Dhir Khandelwal. Namaskar. Namaskar to the show.
Namaste.
So the topic is 12 Adityas. So we Kavim Purana Manushasitaram Manonarinyam Sam Anusmaridya Sarvasya Dhataram Achintya Rupam Aditya Varnam Tamasa Parasat. So there are 12. When you said Samvatsar, and last couple of shows we had done on Samvatsar. So 12 phases of the sun or 12 different names of the sun? What do you think?
It's 12 names of the sun.
12 names of the sun. Okay. And we all know that how Aditya actually, by the way, for audience, Aditya means sun. So what are you going to say today about the sun?
See, we have already discussed about how sun is there. So the information about sun is there in the Yajurvedic text, Yajurvedic Brahmanas. And today, already we had one show on that, and in which I have explained that today we use the word Surya or sun in English, but Surya mainly for our daily activities. But in actually, Surya, the word starts from the Rig Veda itself. But when we talk about when we come to the Yajurvedic text, that is the second most important Veda, as you all know. So Aditya, there they have the word mainly Aditya for sun. And not only Aditya, they have Surya side by side. So Surya and Aditya are two commonly used words denoting sun in Yajurveda. But that's not the case only. We have another thing, or you can say the much more explanation to the concept of sun. So today I'm going to start talk about the origin of 12 Adityas. When we are talking about Aditya, and also when I said that Aditya and sun both are commonly used, then what about 12? How this 12 comes to knowledge? So this is the whole idea today I'm going to explain about. So starting with this, when we talk about sun, it's always an attractive topic for all of us, being it a Vedic seer or astronomer or astrologer. If for everyone it is very much attractive or attention gainer, seeker. So why is it so? Because since the very beginning of from the time of Vedas, it is always found that sun is a natural phenomenon, and therefore the Vedic seers consider sun as a Vedic deity. Therefore, I have mentioned it like देवत्व की कल्पना की उन्होंने देखा कि ये प्रतिदिन आ रहा है और प्रतिदिन हमें कुछ दे रहा है. It can be light, it can be brightness, it can be life, anything from the sun only. So this is how Vedic seers has developed a concept of deity towards the sun or for the sun. Then it's a topic of astronomers also. It's in the time of Vedas also. We have already explained in the series on Samvatsar that there is a very good knowledge on astronomical facts even in the era of Yajurveda. So from the point of view of खगोल शास्त्रीय जिसको हम कह सकते हैं astronomers के केस में, it is there. Sun is always again an important topic for them also. Then for the Jyotish people or the astrologers, it is also important because they not only consider sun as a god, but also they discuss the various effects on life through from the point of view of sun only. So this is just an introduction which I have already given in my previous presentation that was held few months back. So talking about as per the Yajurved, and then coming to the Yajurvediya Brahmana and mainly to the Shatpat Brahman. As I have already mentioned that Aditya and Surya was equally good word term used again and again throughout the Yajurved. As you can say in this stanza also is in this reference also, असौ वा आदित्य सूर्य, जो आदित्य है वही सूर्य है. सो सूर्य एंड आदित्य टू टर्म्स हमें मिलते हैं, एंड I have already explained the etymological meaning of Surya and Aditya in my previous presentation, in which I have mentioned that as per the etymology given in the Shatpat Brahman, Surya is nothing but the one who takes away, who is actually the जो वीरता का या स्ट्रेंथ का जिसके अंदर सब कुछ है, इस इतना शूरवीर जिसको माना गया है, ऐसा वो जो, या हम कहें जो वीर्य से युक्त है, वो सूर्य है. और आदित्य जो है वो जो ग्रहण करता है, सब कुछ प्राप्त कर लेता है, और ऐसा जो है वो आदित्य कहलाता है. तो ये दीज आर जस्ट द प्रॉपर्टीज और द कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स ऑफ द सन इटसेल्फ, एंड देयर आर मेनी अदर प्रॉपर्टीज लाइक दैट you can find in the whole Yajurveda or the Brahminical text of Yajurveda. So this is just an introduction from my previous presentation only. Now, when we look at in present times, why I am saying in present times, because I am a student of Vedas. So for me in present time, we are classical Sanskrit is classical Sanskrit texts are much more new in the sense of Vedas. Like if we talk about the Ramayana or the Mahabharata or the Puranas, they are from the later or post-Vedic period. So again, comparing these two, like Vedic period and post-Vedic period, we can understand the how this whole idea of Adityas evolved. So starting from this, taking the example from the Valmiki Ramayana only, we found one stotra, that is Aditya Hriday Stotra from the Valmiki Ramayana Yudh Kand only, from 105 chapter. And it is basically in this Rishi Agastya told Sri Ram to recite Aditya Hriday Stotra for the to have the ability to win over the Ravan. And he used in the Aditya Hriday Stotra, there is a word called, there is a term Dwadash Atma. Now for why this actually takes our attention कि ये द्वादश आत्मा शब्द जो है ये किसके लिए आया है. तो इट मीन्स अगर हम पूरा आदित्य हृदय स्तोत्र देखते हैं तो हम देखते हैं कि कुछ है जो 12 है, लेकिन वो क्या है. तो जब हम उसे पूरा रीड करते हैं तो हम सन के बारे में जान पाते हैं, सूर्य के बारे में जान पाते हैं. देन अगेन व्हेन वी सी गीता, उसमें भी आदित्य नाम अहम विष्णु. जब हमें ये सेंटेंस मिलता है, ये श्लोक मिलता है, तो यहाँ पर भी आदित्य नाम शब्द का यूज मिलता है. देन यू कैन सी कि उधर द्वादशात्मा कहा गया है, इधर आदित्य नाम कहा गया. इसका मतलब सूर्य जो है वो या आदित्य जो है वो एक तो नहीं, ज्यादा है. तो दिस फिगर एक्चुअली गिव्स अस द आइडिया ऑफ सन or Adityas, many more Adityas, not a single personality, we can say. Now moving to the Puranas, we found this whole idea in relation to the month. We have 12 names here. वहां पर सिर्फ ये बताया गया था कि वो द्वादश 12 सूर्य 12 होते हैं. वहां कहा गया कि आदित्य बहुत है, आदित्यों में से मैं विष्णु हूँ, ऐसा कहा गया है. इसका मतलब बहुत सारे. तो ये आइडिया, हमें बहुत सारे होने का आइडिया मिला. देन जब हम आगे पुराणों में जाते हैं तो हमें नाम मिलते हैं ये श्रीमद् भागवत महापुराण से ही है, उसके 12 चैप्टर से। धाता, अयरमा, मित्र, वरुण, इंद्र, विवस्वान, पूषा, पर्जन्य, अंशु, भग, त्वष्टा, विष्णु। एंड कॉरेस्पॉन्डिंग टू दैट वी हैव ऑल आर 12 मंथ्स। नाउ यहाँ ऐसे प्रेजेंट करना, इट लुक्स वेरी सिंपल कि इसमें क्या नई बात है कि 12 हमारे 12 मंथ्स के नाम है। एंड देन वी हैव कॉरेस्पॉन्डिंग टू दैट वी हैव वन, ईच वन इज हैविंग देयर ओन सूर्य। तो ये जो हम बात करते हैं, ऐसा लगता है कि सूर्य के ही 12 नाम हैं या अलग अलग सूर्य हैं, ऐसा कुछ ज्यादा क्लियर नहीं हो पाता। एंड दूसरा, ये जो 12 आदित्यों के बारे में बात हो रही है, उनका रिप्रेजेंटेशन मंथ के रूप में क्यों है और कैसे हुआ और कब हुआ, इस तरह का चिंतन, दिस गिव्स अस कि हमें कहाँ, दिस गिव्स अस एन आइडिया और क्यूरोसिटी हमारे अंदर आती है कि हमें मतलब जानना चाहिए कि ये आइडिया हमारे तक पहुंचा कैसे, जो कि हमने रामायण में भी देखा, हमने गीता में भी देखा, एंड देन इन दी पुराण। सो अगेन इफ यू सी इन ब्रह्म पुराण, you will see आदित्य, सविता, सूर्य, मिहिर, अर्क, प्रभाकर, मार्तंड, भास्कर, भानु, चित्र, भानु, दिवाकर, रवि। इस तरह से यहाँ पर भी द्वादश, आप यहाँ पर वर्ड भी देख सकते हैं इन द श्लोक ओनली, कि यहाँ भी 12 आदित्यों की बात हो रही है। और नाम, जो नेम्स हैं, दे आर नॉट द सिमिलर एज गिवन इन द महापुराण। Here names are little bit slightly different. And again in another reference of Brahm Puran only, we found another 12 names. So again, there is somehow some similarities there, or some even some similarities not there. So, but still, the idea of having too many other sun, and or you can say 12 sun, or 12 names of sun in corresponding to month, that idea is there, very well there in the classical Sanskrit text. Now the question is, how this concept of 12 Adityas came from, or you can say, what is this whole idea, or what is the concept of this 12 Adityas? Their names, इनके नाम कहाँ से आए? ये हमने अपने आप ही नाम रख लिए, पुराणों में अपने आप ही नाम आ गए, या कुछ बात रही होगी जिसके कारण ये नाम आए? Why to refer only 12 Adityas? हमने 12 ही क्यों लिए? So जब हम इन क्वेश्चंस के बारे में सोचना शुरू करते हैं और अपने क्लासिकल संस्कृत टेक्स्ट को देखते हैं, और अपने एपिक्स से होते हुए जब हम, हमारे मन में ये क्वेश्चंस आते हैं पढ़ते पढ़ते कि ये सब कैसे हुआ, देन आंसर इज ओनली बैक टू वेदास और दी वैदिक लिटरेचर। अपने वैदिक टेक्स्ट को हमें देखना होगा, बिकॉज बिफोर दैट ओनली वी हैव आवर वेदास ओनली, or the Vedic books, Vedic literature, whatever you want to say. So this is how this whole idea takes us to the Vedas. Now, starting from the Samhita period, from the Rig Veda Samhita, we have this particular reference that narrates Ashto Putraso Aditya Jata Tanva Sapri, अर्थात जो ये अदिति है, अदिति के ही 8 पुत्र जो हुए वही आदित्य हैं। अदिति के 8 पुत्रों को के बारे में हमें नॉलेज मिलती है। एंड इन माय लास्ट प्रेजेंटेशन आई हैव टोल्ड दैट आदित्य का जो एटोमोलॉजिकल मीनिंग है, दैट इज क्लियरली is from the ऋग्वेद संहिता, starting from the ऋग्वेद संहिता only, that अदिति के 8 पुत्र हैं और वही आदित्य हैं। तो दिस रेफरेंस अगेन इन द तैत्तिरीय संहिता ओनली, अदिति ही पुत्र कामः, जो अदिति हैं उनके पुत्र हैं। और ये पूरा सेंटेंस जब हम पूरा मंत्र पढ़ते हैं तब हम पूरा ये जान पाते हैं कि 8 पुत्रों की यहाँ बात हो रही है। देन देयर इज अनदर स्टोरी फ्रॉम द अथर्ववेद संहिता ओनली, सेम, अदिति पुत्रो भुवनानि विश्वा, जो अदिति के पुत्र हैं वह इस विश्व में पूर्ण रूप से व्याप्त हैं। मतलब दे आर देयर इन द होल यूनिवर्स और दी वर्ल्ड, और जो हमारे मेन जितने वर्ल्ड्स कहे जाते हैं, लोक जिनको बोलते हैं, समस्त लोकों में, समस्त भुवनों में, इन होल यूनिवर्स अदिति पुत्र इज देयर। और अदिति, अदिति पुत्रो लिखा है, पुत्रो इज अगेन अ term which is plural in nature, it is not a singular in nature. So this whole idea tells us that Aditi के जो पुत्र हैं, Aditi has many sons and not a single one, and Aditya is one of them. So एंड इसके अंदर स्टोरी इस तरह से भी है कि अदिति के 8 पुत्र हुए और जिसमें से 7 पुत्र जो ठीक थे और उसमें से एक जो है मारतंड, जो उनका वो थोड़े से अंडर डेवलप थे या अनडेवलप थे एंड और वो ही आगे जाके विवस्वान हुए। इस तरह से कुछ स्टोरी मिलती है संहिताओं में। बट मेन आइडिया इज कि हमें आदित्य बहुत हैं इसके बारे में। देर आर मेनी आदित्यास, दिस आइडिया कम्स फ्रॉम द ऋग्वेदा एंड देन अदर संहिता। बट the knowledge of this idea or the concept of Adityas is was there in the Sangita period, but there is no clarity about that. Not much clarity कि हम कैसे मान लें कि ये सन के बारे में बात हो रही है या आदित्य के बारे में बात हो रही है। Then we have to move to the Brahminical period and in the Brahmanas text and mainly to the Yajurvedic Brahmanas, which gives us the idea that Adityanam Tejasa. This reference is from the Taittiriya Brahman, that is a Krishna Yajurved, or you can say Black Yajurved Brahman, which says Adityanam Tejasa means again यहाँ पर आदित्य word जो है, the term Aditya is in plural, not in a singular way. एंड जो आदित्य हैं वो उनमें बहुत तेज है, इस तरह से कहा गया है। तो यहाँ पर भी जब हम आदित्य नाम देखते हैं, बहुत सारे आदित्यों की बात देखते हैं, तो हमें पता लगता है कि बहुत सारे आदित्य बहुत है। तो ये दिस इज द हाईलाइटेड वर्ड एक्चुअली। सो इसको और ज्यादा मोर इन मच मोर क्लियरर वे was explained by the Taittiriya Brahman and also by the Shatpat Brahman. Now, as you I have mentioned that Taittiriya Brahman is the Brahman of Krishna Yajurveda, but Shatpat Brahman is related to the White Yajurveda, or you can say the Shukla Yajurveda. It is a Shukla Yajurveda Brahman text. And here it is clearly mentioned in both the references that Adityahu Dwadash. Abhi tak they are saying that Aditya Naam is the word term used for many sun or many Adityas. But now they have come to the point, or they have concluded this Aditya Naam in a word with using Dwadash. कि आदित्य जो है वो 12 है. This is now clear. And again in Taittiriya Brahman, first Kant, they have given this in these references, they have explained the same story of Aditi and her sons, her 8 sons, as we have found in the Rig Veda. And in the Taittiriya Brahman, we have 8 names of son: Dhata, Ayarman, Mitra, Varun, Ansh, Bhag, Indra, or Viviswan. These names are very much there in an order in this particular reference of Taittiriya Brahman. But when we see Shatpat Brahman having the same story as explained in the Rig Veda of the Aditi and the son and 8 sons, but the order of the names of for used for the Adityas or the sun is not there in the Shatpat Brahman. There is no particular order. The names, all these names, Savita, Savita is the repeated one here. Ark, Savita, Vivaswan, Varun, Martand, Ayarma, Vishnu. These names are scattered everywhere in the Shatpat Brahman, but these are not given in a serial order or a particular order in one particular reference. So hence there is no reference I have given, because there are many references to all these names. So again, from this particular slide, this you can very much conclude this idea that the concept of many Adityas is from the Yajurved, starting is from the Sangita period, starting from the Rig Veda, and then how many Adityas are there? That is, the 12 number is given by the Yajurvediya Brahman text, not any other. This is the major important point. And then about the names, how these all names of there are names in the Rig Veda also, but the main serial order is given by the Taittiriya Brahman, and the other names are found there in the Shatpat Brahman. So this is how this whole idea of Adityas developed through the Yajurvedic text. So we can say the knowledge of Adityas or about the Adityas was there in the Brahminical period, but with very much clarity. It was not clear in the Rig Veda period, but it is clear in the Brahminical, or that too in the Yajurvedic Brahmanas period. So again, now this Adityoho Dwadash. Now, what this Dwadash stand for? The term Dwadash stands for what? To know, understand this, we have another two references from the Shatpat Brahman that says, Katam Adityaha iti Dwadash Masaha संवत्सरस्य एतत् आदित्यः. अर्थात कि आदित्य जो है, आदित्य कौन है? कतम आदित्य मीन्स कौन है आदित्य या क्या है आदित्य. तो यहाँ पर एक्सप्लेनेशन आती है कि संवत्सर के जो द्वादश मास हैं, मतलब कि a year is known as samvatsar, as I have already told in my previous presentations, earlier presentations, and that year holds is having 12 months, and those 12 months are nothing but the 12 Adityas. So this is how we can conclude that Dwadash is nothing but the 12 months only. 12 Adityas equivalent to 12 months. So this is the highlighted point. And in the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, again in this reference, the same point, Dwadash Masa Samvatsarasya Etat Adityaha was there in the beginning, and then it says Sarvam Adan Yanti Tasmad Adityaha. अर्थात जो सब कुछ ग्रहण करते हुए चलता है, जो सब कुछ आदान, जो सब कुछ ले लेता है, वही आदित्य है, जो प्राप्त कर लेता है सब कुछ. और वो क्या प्राप्त कर लेता है? तो बृहदारण्यक उपनिषद in the explanation by Shankar, Acharya Shankar, it says that the one who takes your age, the one who takes your karm phal, it is that Aditya. So जो सब कुछ ले लेता है, जो सब कुछ हमारा जिस पर सब कुछ निर्भर है और जो हमसे सब कुछ naturally that is again the time का जो है, टाइम ही है सब कुछ जो हमसे ग्रहण भी करता है और हमारा ले भी लेता है. सो आदित्य उस वे में यहाँ पर बृहदारण्यक उपनिषद में बताया गया है. देन द्वादश मासा संवत्सरः, this concept is explained here in the Brahma Puran also, like in the Srimad Bhagavad Puran. I have shown in my earlier slide. यहाँ पर भी विष्णु तपती चैत्रे, अर्थात जो चैत्र मास है उसमें विष्णु है वो तपते हैं. देन वैशाखे च अयरमा, तो वैशाख में जो है अयरमा, उसके बाद माघ में भग. इस तरह से करते करते दे हैव गिवन दी ऑल नेम्स, ऑल 12 आदित्यास corresponding to their month, their 12 months in this 31st chapter of Brahma Puran. And here is the reference for that. And so we can say that we can conclude with this that 12 Adityas are actually different forms of the Surya. If we are saying that Surya or 12 Adityas are nothing but 12 Adityas are the 12 months only, and so we can say जो 12 आदित्य का जो कॉन्सेप्ट है वो 12 मंथ्स क्या है? सूर्य के ही 12 प्रकार के रूप है, जो सूर्य हर मंथ में अपना कुछ परिवर्तन जो उसमें हो रहा है वो तब तो हर महीने में रहा है, बट कुछ परिवर्तन के साथ, कुछ बदलाव के साथ. सो दैट चेंज एक्चुअली the 12 forms of Surya is basically 12 Adityas. This idea is given by the starting from the Yajurveda, and then we have the this concept clear in the very much in a clear state in Puranas. And from Puranas also, from various Puranas, we can even have the 108 names of Surya, or we can say of about God Surya or sun or the Adityas. But as I have said that Adityas basically is the name for the 12 months. But when we are talking about Surya, तो जो नाम है 12 मासों को 12 आदित्य कहा गया, लेकिन सूर्य जो है वो 108 उनके नाम हो सकते हैं, वो अलग बात है. तो यहाँ पर हमें फिर से याद आता है कि वी जस्ट रेफर टू गीता, आदित्य नाम अहम विष्णु. श्री कृष्ण अपने आप को आदित्यों में विष्णु कह रहे हैं, और हमने अभी बहुत सारे जब नाम दिए देखे 12 आदित्यास के, जो हमने व्हेन वी हैव सीन द नेम्स ऑफ 12 आदित्यास, then these Vishnu is one of them. So how this Vishnu is related to Aditya? Now this is the another question. Srimad Bhagavad also says in its 12th chapter that विष्णु इज सन, विष्णु कुछ और नहीं सूर्य ही है, क्योंकि जो ये 12 आदित्य हैं वो एक तरह से उनकी ही पर्सन, जो विष्णु का विराट रूप हमने देखा या सुप्रीम पर्सनालिटी जो विष्णु है, वही उनकी एक्सपेंशंस जो हैं वो कुछ और नहीं, वो सन ही है। और ये हमें बात कहाँ से पता चलती है? अगर हम शतपथ ब्राह्मण का ये रेफरेंस देखें तो हम इसको बहुत अच्छे से समझ सकते हैं, जहां पर उन्होंने कहा कि जो विष्णु है वो उस परम पद में रहते हैं, परम स्थान में रहते हैं, जहां सिर्फ चमक ही चमक है, ब्राइटनेस ही ब्राइटनेस है वो, और जो सबको चमक देते हैं, तपते हैं। तो यहाँ सूर्य सूर्य शब्द ना होकर विष्णु शब्द की बात की गई है। तो अगेन द टर्म विष्णु इज यूज्ड फॉर सन in this particular reference of Shatpat Brahman, which says that Vishnu is situated in that place where there is only brightness, nothing else. So now I'm just concluding this by saying that Tejasam api tejasvi dvadash atmanah namastute. So this line is from the Aditya Hriday Stotra only. और यहाँ पर एक तरह से जो आज का अगर हमारा देखते हैं कि जो आज के प्रेजेंट यंगस्टर्स को अगर हम देखें, सो इफ दे कम अक्रॉस दिस पर्टिकुलर reference, or you can say the sentence or the shloka, they can never understand this. The word Dwadash Atmana is basically a term used for sun only, is denoting the powerful god sun. That's it.
You mentioned many things here in the presentation. So just from the point of discussion, like when we talk about Samvatsar, Samvatsar we spoke about, Yasyakam chakram dwadasharam sharnevi trinabi samvatsaratmakam saman mantanti tasyaksho. Very simple definitions are there. There are 12 seasons are considered 12 spokes of the movement of sun. Now, when you're talking movement of the sun, there is no movement of the earth anywhere mentioned in Vedas.
Yeah,
how will
exactly.
how will you reconcile? Like if the sun is moving and earth is, there is no mention in Vedas about movement of earth. Not even rotation is mentioned.
See, I believe that Rishi was there on the earth only. So how can we judge our particular movement?
If they can explain so many things accurately, so many things they can define accurately, then how can we assume that they were not developed in knowledge? Because they wrote all these things.
No, because there is one particular reference which I'm going to mention in my coming up subsequent lectures, in which Surya or Aditya ekaki charti.
What that I know, it's a one wheel Arunodaya. So one wheel of the sun chariot, and Arunadev is sitting in front of him facing the sun. We know all those things. But I'm just saying that if they were able to write all those things, nowhere in this Shastra you'll see anywhere Bhugol. Have you seen Bhugol anywhere?
No, it is always Khagol.
Yeah, there is no Bhugol. It's just, so the whole concept of Bhugol, which people say, I'm just talking pure science. Like, where did you see that anywhere in your study?
No.
So there is only movement of sun is mentioned. Like,
but this your question is quite remarkable. I will like to have much. I'd like to research on this, especially in the Yajurveda. If I found anything like that, I will definitely share it with you.
Yeah,
on the show.
I mean, it's like very, very accurately it is mentioned. Where is sun situated? Sun is very situated, and where is moon situated? All these things are very accurately mentioned. And these are all. So if you are making a basis that yes, the Vedas say, and all these different quotations are there from different Vedic literatures. So if we accept 90% of it, why not 10% of it? My question is this. Everywhere we quote, this is written in Veda, this is written in Veda, this is written in Veda. And another misconception is, serious misconception by of all the scholars, that Rig Veda was the first Veda. It's it is not written anywhere. It's like if I have a cloth, I divide in 4 parts, and I cut the first part first. Doesn't mean that the first part came first. Somewhere I have to start, right? So Vyasdev says, I divided one Veda into 4 parts. So naturally, the first I put the Rig Veda mantra is set aside. Doesn't mean Rig Veda came first. Cloth was already there. Do you understand my logic? All the scholars are wrong over there. I mean, I want to discuss with more scholars that how did you come to this conclusion of Rig Veda came first? Nobody has an answer for that. Because it's
But
not
when
mentioned in the Shastra.
but in Yajurveda or the Atharveda, we found repetitions from the Rigvedic mantras.
Because it's the same Veda. It's a one Veda, just divided in 4 parts for easy understanding and study. Vyasdev mentions that. Vyasdev says very clearly. Vyasdev says he says, very clearly he says, this is a shloka he says, I tell you which one was that. It's very clearly. And it's in Brahma Sutra, it's in, I can quote like 20 different parts. Tasam sa chatur shishyan pahun mahamati ekeka samhita brahma chakreka smit dadav vibhu. So he divided one Veda into 4 and called 4 people, gave him each one of them these 4 samhita equally at the same time in one room.
This is a new explanation.
Not new explanation. I'm just quoting. It's like you are quoting Shastra, I'm quoting Shastra. So it's like, the whole is like a blind man looking at an elephant. A blind man looks at an elephant, he says one leg, and he says only elephant has one leg. Another man comes and says, oh, it has another, it is also a pole. Somebody touches the tail, he says, oh, the elephant is like a snake. Somebody touches the trunk, elephant is like a big hose pipe. But very clearly mentioned in the Vedas, very clearly, that yes, the one Veda is divided into 4 parts equally. There is no one comes first. Like, I have not seen a single scholar coming on my show and can give me any other reference than what I'm saying, because they cannot match it. Because they are all reading just one part. Oh, only Rig Veda, Brith Samhita, big names throughout. They don't understand. These are the 4 disciples. It's like I'm a teacher. I call 4 people. I say, first part is yours, second part is yours, third part is yours, fourth part is yours. Obviously, they are all going to match. Because there was one Veda in the beginning. You see what I'm saying? If I take a red cloth and I divide it into 4 parts, and so obviously red color will match everywhere. It's a red cloth.
But how do you justify this thing that their timelines are different, their subject matter is different, and even sometimes the subject matter which was there in the Rig Veda, the other Vedas are explaining that thing.
Because they are one Veda. It's one Veda. So they all are related.
No, suppose you are my teacher. You are my teacher and you are saying, you have said one sentence and you ask me, Aparna, next day come to my class and just explain this to me.
Correct.
So I will definitely quote your word in your sentence.
Yeah.
But while giving my explanation, I will use 3-4 lines extra. So this is how being done in another Vedas also.
No. So what Vyasdev did is very clear. I'm going to read you the Shastra directly. What he did. Vyasdev taught the first Samhita, Rig Veda, to Paila and called it Bhavrich. Vaishampayan, he spoke Yajur Mantra, called it Nigada. Taught Sam Veda to Chandoga, called Chandoga Samhita to Jaimini, and Atharva Veda to Sumantu. He says, so same knowledge given to 4 people to now further write it down, explain more. But they're all related. By the way, the Vaishampayan's disciple is Yajnavalkya. Vaishampayan is a guru of Yajurveda. He's the same guy who spoke, same person who spoke Mahabharat. Vaishampayan Rishi is the same person who spoke Mahabharat also. And he's everywhere there. Because he's the same person. And he's a Yajurveda, he's an authority on Yajurveda. So Vyasdev gave 4 department heads. 4 different says, okay, I have written this, I have separated them out. Now with your disciples, you write it further based on what I have taught you. So this is how the Vedas expanded. But nowhere mentioned Rig Veda comes first. Nowhere. So any scholar comes, they can't argue with me on here. Because the reason is, it defeats the logic. Because people say Rig Veda came first. So many big Padma Shris have said that. Padma Vibhushans have said that. And doesn't, so, but the Shastras don't send it. Like I can challenge them on like the Dwadash Aditya Samvatsara. I told you Samvatsara, 12 seasons, 12 spokes of the wheel of the sun's movement. And again, my question is, if sun is moving, then what about the earth? So it's like we are creating the whole fairy tale. Earth is moving, sun is moving, earth is rotating, sun is rotating. Like it's like a circus over there. So it's like you ask them any question and like they say, this is science, now keep quiet. That's why I will put in I'll put a next show there, the unscientific science of the Western world. Because Indian Indologists are only copying the Western world. They're not creating anything new. They use the Western models of heliocentric models and they say, oh, this is ours. No, this is not ours. No, we don't have to use Vedas to justify the Western understanding. We have to stand on the Vedas and say, this is what we believe in. Our science should be based on this. And we should research on it. I favor science, the yogi science or the real scientific temperament where we need to 90. We need to cut out the BS over there. That okay, you just separate everything out, focus on the real things. You know? What do you say? Because proof are there right in front of you.
No, but what you have concluded, you are saying that we were having this understanding that sun was there, and sun is rotating or moving, and we were static.
I'm not concluding. I'm saying that you are presenting 12 Aditya. You should present Samvatsar. You are saying sun is movement. Everywhere sun's movement. Nowhere you are saying earth's movement. So
because because whatever references is there with me, it is predicting this only.
No, but the wrong conclusion, right? You're reading references. What do you mean references? Like so you have collected references, shloka. But what is your understanding? Because in all the shlokas, there is no mention of earth. They're assuming earth to be stationary. You know, this is what I'm thinking. And the sun is moving. You're calculating sun's movement all the time. Like I can tell you which Makar, the first when Uttarayan, which Rashi it enters, to which destination goes. Vibhavari, it passes through Vibhavari. Like I can tell you exactly from Makar, that's why called Makar Sankranti. From Makara it enters and it goes through all the different and then comes back. So how do you say that? How do you reconcile?
Again I'm saying that while see अपने आप को अगर हम ऋषि के रूप में देखें और हम ये देखें कि we were नहीं हम अगर we were like Rishi is situated on the earth only and he is looking at the sky. So how can he feels his own movement? He understands his movement through the sky only.
Yeah, but so are you assuming that these rishis were not educated?
No, they have given us the whole way.
You are thinking like the disciple of Vyas. These are all disciples of Vyasdev. And for viewers, I can tell for viewers, Vyasdev is like a big university himself. And when his disciples are there, they're all scientific people. They're like yogis. Yajnavalkya could meet sun, could go to sun and come back. And Yajnavalkya is a disciple of Vaishampayan, Yajurveda. Yajurveda talks about all the proprietorship. So what in your analysis, when you do research, like I want to see what are the assumptions you have taken. Because we cannot just say that he said this and he said that and he said this and he said that. If you're doing that, then we take the completeness. Because then when we start saying Rig Veda came first, it doesn't support it. Doesn't support Mahabharata. Doesn't support it. The Mahabharata doesn't support. I quoted you from Mahabharata just now. Mahabharata doesn't support it. And Markandeya Rishi is saying Vyasdev is only seeing the Vaivasvat Manu period, but uh, the Markandeya Rishi is seeing multiple kalpa. He's seeing multiple days of Brahma. So if everything is, if you're quoting someone, then we need to quote higher versions, lower versions, or the superior people also. And assuming that those people, just assuming like the Western world says, oh, they didn't know, we know more. Then why do all the calculations go wrong all the time? Why can't even the Western meteorological societies can't predict rain accurately? Even today, they can't do that. Radars can see the cloud, and hurricanes they cannot predict. They can see hurricane right in front of you, but they cannot predict where it's going to hit. There are a lot of things are there. So another reference I'll give you. Another reference. I'll have a lot of references here. So Paila now in Paila gives it to Indramati Bashkal. Bashkal gives it to 4 parts, gives it to Bodh Gaya, Yagyavalka, Parashar, and Agnimitra. And these are all people whose minds are controlled. They are not like today's scientists who need a glass of wine to think. These guys don't have that kind of problem. They are yogis. So they obviously, like and they are way before Patanjali. So Patanjali is following them and writing Yoga Sutra much later, much later. So when we talk about the written history, it is done just in Dwapar, towards the end of the Dwapar Yuga, which is for us, people like us, because we have no memory. So my question is like sun's movement. You said 12 Aditya very clearly mentions that Samvatsar, 12 seasons it creates, and each phase is called a different name and divided into 6 parts generally. The whole movement divided 6 parts. So 2 hours is the one muhurta, keep changing. We all know all these things. So but the bigger question is, we are only talking about movement of sun. We are only talking about movement of moon. We are only talking about movement of nakshatra. Sun passing through nakshatra. That means nakshatra is not changing. Nakshatra is just stationary. They're passing through it. So if nakshatra is stationary, sun is moving, moon is moving, and nakshatra doesn't change. Maybe some people they say nakshatra is unique for everyone at any given place of time because of the location. But the movement of the sun is what is described everywhere. My question, people, researchers like you, this is a bigger question to question, because that unless we come up with a Vedic thought, Vedic science, how can we challenge? And everything is related to that. Like most of the space launches are happening. Space launches rocket goes up, comes down. And calculating the sun's position, moon's position, they don't do that, such things, because they're not going very high. They're just going 80 miles, 100 miles. Some people go to 800 miles. And some people claim that we have gone to 2 million miles, 3 million miles. But again, it's a secondary information. Like, we're trusting NASA more than anyone else. We're trusting that NASA is not editing the images. And they're just actually that things are growing far. So, when we talk about science, everything is questionable, including what I'm saying is questionable. So I'm just using the references, So, you have any point to make?
You have mentioned one line here that Vaishnampayan is the one who is the main rishi of Yajurveda and then the
That's right.
Mahabharata. So, do you think that he's there from Yajurveda to Mahabharata?
No, you don't understand. Like the Mahabharata and Yajurveda are at the same time, same period. So when we are writing it down, so it's like one session finished, and then he's also sitting with his guru, Vyasdev. And Vyasdev is saying Mahabharata to, he has written, Vyasdev has written it, and then Vaishnampayan is repeating it again to Janmajay. Not too much long periods.
So, that means what about the chronology people are doing then? Because they are giving
I,
so many timelines, even our
I,
Nilesh ji
I,
also.
I have no idea. I have no idea. I'll have to discuss that. I have no idea
And
from where it's coming from. Because I'm just saying that all these four Vedas are given, same person is repeating again and again. Now people may say he's a different person, but Vyasdev is saying, again referencing, I spoke to you the Veda, now you speak Mahabharata. So it happened the same time.
so Gita again, Gita comes in between, and Shri Krishna is also there at the time of Yajurveda.
So, uh,
Is that so?
so Vyasdev came much before, because Vyasdev, if you look at Parashar and Satyavati, now it's like Satyavati, then Vichitravirya, Amba Ambalika, then after that comes Shantanu, then after, so it's like four generations before. 4 generations before, and then Vaishampayan is staying longer, and Vyasdev stayed back after that too. After Mahabharat war, he stayed back. He was there. So it's a long period of life they have. And all these sages were together at that time. Like if you look at the any assembly in Naimisharanya or anywhere else, all of these sages are sitting together. All of them. So the whole point that, oh, he'll be a different person, what I read, I don't see it. So when I hear all these different scholars saying, I say, I don't know what they're reading.
That's just a point to mention. Then what about those terms which we found in the Yajurveda or the Taittiriya Brahman? Jivem Sharda Shatam.
Uh-huh,
They are giving Ashirvachan of 100 years only, not 1,000 years. But in Shatpat Brahman, we have I've collected one reference which
uh-huh,
says you can live up to 1,000 years only through education. ओनली थ्रू एजुकेशन इट मीन्स अगर आप अध्ययन अध्यापन कर रहे हैं, जैसे कि कोई टीचर है वो आज है और आगे नहीं है, किसी टाइम 100 साल की उम्र के बाद नहीं है, लेकिन अगर उनके स्टूडेंट्स आगे पढ़ रहे हैं और हम उनका नाम ले लेके उनकी किताबें इत्यादि जो भी है, if we are reading those books even after 500 years or 600 years, so that teacher or that names uh, remain alive for us in our memory and or in thoughts, or we are taking his blessings through various, I mean, we are reading his books or literature. So in that ways 1,000 years you can live. That is there by written by the Shatpat Brahman. But then how can you say that these people live like you are saying about Mahabharat, people live a lot many years, they are there in that at that time, they are there even at that time, so how that we justify that?
no, we don't have to justify anything. Like, for example, so many people must have given you blessings of live 100 years. You can't add all of them and say, now I have 10,000 years. Because it's a general saying. Like, if you, so I, people, what I'm trying to say, the time Vedas are written, Upanishads, Vedas are written, Mahabharata history is written, especially about Ved Vyas. These are all together. Lot of not much distant. They can be. See, Ved Vyas is a big, is a considered a Vishnu incarnation. It's an incarnation of Vishnu, avatar of Vishnu, and he had a long lifespan. His son dies before him. Shukdev Goswami dies before Vyasdev, by the way. So the thing is, but all this information is there. Like I'm saying, these are all the same period, same disciples, same people talking multiple things, including Romharshan Sutta, about his Suta Goswami. These are all together. They're all listening. This is how the paramparas are made. Like you speak live, not in the previous. And one question you mentioned about the different words of different Veda. Now, uh, all the four Vedas are divided at the same time in front by Vyasdev. Obviously, they will all be related because they're part of one book, one Veda. It is put just in 4 parts. So naturally, to expand any knowledge, like any department, they'll create specialized units so that everybody can expand. And that's what it has happened. Expand doesn't mean contradict. Expand means whatever details were not covered should be covered there, but within a specific direction, like Sama Veda, Yajur Veda, Rig Veda, Tharva Veda. Because in Ramayana, there is a mention of Ramayana. In Ramayana, the Putreshti Yagya of Dashrath was performed using Atharva Veda mantra. So you may ask, how come Atharva Veda reached there? It was not there. So if you look at that history, then Atharva Veda is oldest. But that time only that was used by Rishi Shringi. So but in Kali Yuga, it is written down for you and me because we don't remember anything. So we can refer it. But we have created confusion here by saying, by most of the times, quoting different things and saying, oh, this word is where this word. I can tell you Jivida Sharata Sharam 100 times in Bhagavad Purana also and Mahabharata also.
But
So
again, why only Sharad Shatam? मतलब शतम क्यों? वहाँ thousands क्यों नहीं?
it's a very,
सहस्त्र बोल देते हैं, जीवेम शरद, सहस्त्र शरद, ऐसा करके.
it is not a big logic because in Treta Yuga, in Dwapar Yuga, in Treta Yuga, it's up to 10,000 years. If you were born in Treta Yuga, then they would have sent 10,000. Jivida Shata Sahasra. Shata Sahasra. They would have told you. If you're in Dwapar Yuga, they'll say Sahasra Yuga. But in Kali Yuga, you have to say only 100 years because the 100 years is a regulated period. So it depends on the Yuga. So the point is, like, we cannot extrapolate too much. If you go outside that logic, then you have to challenge everything after that.
So, अभी आपने एक, you just mentioned that Ramayana was there at the time of Atharvaveda or vice versa. And
No, I did
in
not say
Kali Yuga,
Atharva. No. I didn't say that. I said in Ramayana, Atharvaveda mantra are used for Putreshti Yajna of Darshat Maharaj. I did not. Yes.
you said that, but after that you mentioned that in Kali Yuga it is written for us.
Yeah. So
Ramayana is written for us in the Kali Yuga. So
no,
that means
Ramayana. I said, you hear carefully. I said in Kali Yuga, all the Vedas are written for us.
Okay, you mentioned that.
All the Vedas are written for us. It's very clearly mentioned that Kali Yuga, before the beginning of Kali Yuga, these Vedas are written down. So because people will have less attention span, less memory. They know that. So that's what. But the Atharvaveda mantra, because there was a spoken tradition, they were always there. All the Vedic mantras are always there because they came from Brahma's mouth.
So all Vedas were there in the form of spoken tradition.
That's right.
And what about the epics? They were in the written format.
They have to read. They are Adityas. They have to be written down.
So if their creator is one, as you said, Vaishampayan, as you have taken the example of Vaishampayan Rishi. So once at one place he is speaking and at other place he is writing down.
So the Mahabharata and Yajurveda. So how can you assume that he may not have completed the Yajurveda? What is your assumption? So when he is given, Vyasdev is given him the Yajurveda, he has written down, and then he's learned Mahabharata from Vyasdev and he's speaking at a different place. So you're assuming that he's having lunch and breakfast at the same time. That is a wrong assumption. He must have already written down Yajurveda. And then now he is coming to Janmajaya to help him recite the Mahabharata, because that's what his guru asked him to do. He takes permission from Vyasdev. Can I speak now? And he's looking at Vyasdev. There are referred shlokas in Mahabharata. And then he's speaking over there. So assumptions are wrong. So you're saying that they cannot do the same thing? Maybe. So 10 years ago, you were in some different education system, and now you are in doing something else. 20 years later, somebody says, how was she doing both the things at the same time? No, there's a 10-year period between you. It's the same logic, So we cannot, we have to, some same person can do multiple things over a period of time. Like you have passed 10th standard, obviously, and now you are doing PhD or you've done PhD. So, but if I say that, how did she do 10th standard and PhD at the same time? It's not a logical question, So the point which I'm trying to say, that many of the scholars, if you read that, they're quoting, I'm quoting. I'm completely seeing a different picture. They're seeing a completely different picture. And they are much bigger than me. I can assume that. I give them all respect for that. But my question is very simple. That it is not written anywhere that Rig Veda came first.
Okay, now my point is, are these questions or researches meant only for the Sanskrit people or the historians as well?
Everybody. This show is being watched for everybody.
Because what we are discussing here are based on the references we have collected from the epics or the Yajurveda, or
No,
sorry, Vedas.
I've quoted the references. I've
Huh,
quoted it.
you have quoted yourself, but for historians, if they are not reading epics or the Vedas, so how they can conclude that these people are at the same time in their lifespan? In their lifespan, they have done this thing.
In 20th century, in 21st century, everybody is a historian. Information is freely available. So the so-called sitting in the universities calling themselves a history professor, everybody is questionable. Everybody. Just because they have a fancy PhD degree doesn't mean that they are not questionable. So, so if they are coming to reading the same shloka which I am reading, and they're putting their own interpretation to that, then everybody is going to question them. People are not going to the universities after some time because they say this guy is a mythology industry. It's like, why will we go to some place to learn something? So everybody has a right to question them. So no longer like I always say nowadays American universities used to be very open, and nowadays they're all closed because they don't like questioning. And so, but now common people can go and search on the Google. Like I just I'm a student of Mahabharata Ramayana, so I can quote exactly where it is written. It is very clearly like day and night that a person sat down in a room, collected all the Vedic mantras, divided piles. It doesn't say piles. This part is yours. This part is yours. This part is yours. This part is yours. That the whole thing was already existing. So if somebody says the first part is the oldest one, doesn't fit the logic. Because first part is as old as the fourth part, because it's part of the same thing.
So today you have given me two questions to answer. Maybe in some
You don't
other
you
series.
have to research. You have to
Huh,
research.
of course, of
You don't have to
course.
answer me. You have to answer yourself. Because I'm nobody to question you. And then
Why Rigved is the first one? Why we consider Rigved as first one? This is your question.
no. It's my question. I'm very clear that all faith Veda came together. You have to research for yourself. That
Yeah. And
for
secondly, you
yourself.
have asked. Secondly, you have asked why there is no mention about Earth anywhere in our text
No, see,
regarding its movement, basically.
no. The second question is why only sun's movement is mentioned.
So why only sun? So I'm talking other way around.
You have to answer why sun's movement is only mentioned. Come up with some theory. And the second is you have to satisfy yourself, not me. It is a yoga.
Of
And
course.
not to
No.
see, generally our bad habit is, and for all the researchers is, we find little bit, and that's eureka moment, and we come on the shows and we have big shows, and then same with the big scholars in the Western world. I won't want to take their names, very popular. Oh, alien theory, the dinosaur theory, and that's the only thing we found out. The we don't construct the whole picture, and then we get into all kinds of things. And so for that you need like some kind of yogic knowledge and some sense control, mind control. Otherwise we won't come to that conclusion ever. Otherwise we will just presenting half-baked knowledge. I read you exactly the shloka. It says Vyasdev took the one Veda, put them into four: first part, second part, third part, fourth part. And he gave them mantras, the names. Yajurveda, this is Yajur, this is Rigveda. So he exactly knew what were Atharvaveda mantras. He exactly knew what are Yajurveda mantras. That means they were existing before, knowledge was existing before. But for writing it down and expanding it, he gave the task to his four trusted disciples, very trusted disciples. And then, like, very simple things are mentioned. But when somebody says, and most of these confusions have originated in the West by Max Muller and other people, who have claimed that, oh, Rig Veda is the oldest, and the Indologists are jumping on it. Yes, it's the oldest. And some people are even previewing the age also now, 75,000 years, 50,000 years, 40,000 years. Nowhere is mentioned. It says if one is 40,000 years, all of them should be 40,000 years. If one is 50,000 years, all are 50,000 years. Unless we are doing carbon dating of the paper. Paper has a finite age. If you do the carbon dating of the paper, yes, I'll agree with you that some paper can be older or some paper can be newer. But what the mantras are existing from Ramayana, Trita Yuga mentions the Putrishti Yagya. Anyway, good discussion. I think viewers are loving it. I know people want me to continue, but this hour is over and we all have to go for our tasks. So thank you so much for coming on the show, Aparna.
Yeah, even new theories are there. I
I'm
mean, what
not
you have
creating.
just
I'm not creating any new theory. I'm just quoting. I'm not creating
you
anything.
are quoting, but this is the new thing I'm learning that Vedas one book and four piles are there for each disciple.
So
That's
my
new for
question
me.
is, people who call themselves researchers, did they miss all these kind of things? So nowadays, PhD. Somebody says PhD is not any barometer of that he may be a researcher. He's just somebody title is being given to them. Today's world, everybody is a researcher. Everybody can search. Everybody can find out. So after some time, I think these degrees will also disappear because they have no meaning. Literally, people can question them and they will be like blank. I'll come back to you. Then what was the research you did in the first place? My question is. Thank you so much, Aparna ji, and thank you for all the viewers for watching. Do like, share, subscribe. Let me know your feedback, and we'll see you in the next show. Namaste.
Thank you. Namaste.